Sydney Sweeney's love life just shocked Hollywood again. Forget the rumors about Tom Brady, Orlando Bloom, or even Glenn Powell. Her latest connection is with someone no one expected, Scooter Braun. Yes, the same man behind Justin Bieber's rise to fame, the mastermind who worked with Ariana Grande, and the controversial figure who went head-to-head with Taylor Swift over her music rights. But this isn't just a random summer fling. It's the kind of romance that reveals a clear dating pattern in Sydney's life, one that fans are only now starting to piece together. And with Braun's own controversial past, the story becomes even more intriguing. So here's the big question. Is this just a temporary spark, or does it say something deeper about the type of men Sydney Sweeney is drawn to? In June, whispers started swirling when Sydney was spotted strolling through Venice, Italy. But she wasn't alone. Right there with her was Scooter Braun, and insiders quickly claimed this wasn't just a casual encounter. Reports from Star magazine painted the picture of a full-blown summer romance, and suddenly the internet lit up. It caught fans completely off guard. After all, Sydney had already been linked in rumors to Hollywood A-listers like Tom Brady, Orlando Bloom, and Glenn Powell. But this time, the speculation turned into confirmation, photos, insider comments, and stories of the two spending time together abroad. And the shock factor? Braun isn't just another celebrity name in the headlines. He's a 44-year-old power player in the music industry with a reputation that's anything but simple. But this connection isn't just about being seen together in Venice. It fits into a bigger pattern that tells us far more about Sydney's choices. Sydney Sweeney has never been a stranger to speculation. Over the past year, her name has been tied to some of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Headlines linked her to Tom Brady, sparked chatter about Orlando Bloom, and set the internet ablaze with stories of Glenn Powell. None of these romances were ever confirmed, but that didn't stop the rumors from dominating social media. And that's where the pattern starts to show. Each time, the man in question wasn't just famous. He was older, established, and carried serious weight in his industry. It's a detail that fans keep pointing out, and it raises an interesting question. Is Sydney simply a magnet for powerful names? Or is there something about these kinds of men that she's consistently drawn towards? And when you look at her most serious relationship, the pattern becomes even harder to ignore. Before Scooter Braun ever entered the picture, Sydney's longest and most serious relationship was with Chicago businessman Jonathan Davino. They were together for years, and by 2022, they were engaged, a commitment that seemed destined to end in marriage. Davino wasn't an actor, musician, or Hollywood insider. He was a 42-year-old entrepreneur, older than Sydney by 2 decades, and their relationship gave her the kind of stability many young stars don't usually find. But in the spring of 2025, that chapter closed. The engagement ended, quietly but definitively, and Sydney was suddenly back in the public spotlight as single. And that's when people began noticing the pattern. Once again, a wealthy, older businessman, which makes her sudden link to Scooter Braun, another powerful figure in his 40s, stand out even more. Because Braun isn't just another name. His past comes with more drama and controversy than any of Sydney's previous partners. Scooter Braun is no ordinary Hollywood figure. For years, he's been one of the most powerful managers in the music industry, credited with discovering a teenage Justin Bieber and helping launch Ariana Grande into superstardom. His name is synonymous with fame, success, and big business deals. But he's also one of the most controversial men in entertainment. In 2019, Braun purchased Big Machine label group, which included the masters of Taylor Swift's first 6 albums. What followed was nothing short of a cultural firestorm. Swift accused him of trying to control her legacy, sparking an all-out feud that divided the music industry. Even years later, the scandal still shadows his name. By May of 2025, Swift finally regained full control of her work. But for many fans, Braun remains a symbol of greed and betrayal, which makes Sydney's rumored romance with him even more shocking. Because the real question isn't just who Braun is, but how Sydney and Scooter ended up in each other's orbit in the first place. So how did Sydney and Scooter even cross paths? The truth is, no one can say for sure. Some insiders suggest they may have met years ago at one of Hollywood's endless after-parties or through mutual friends in the entertainment scene. But one event stands out more than any other: Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $50 million wedding. Both Sydney and Braun were in attendance, surrounded by billionaires, A-list celebrities, and global power players. For many, that night was more than a wedding. It was a networking spectacle. And according to speculation, it may have been the spark that brought Sydney and Scooter closer together. It's not hard to imagine. Sydney, one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars, and Braun, a seasoned industry mogul, mingling in the same circles of wealth and influence. If their connection did start there, it only underscores one thing: Sydney's relationships tend to bloom in elite, exclusive spaces. But while the focus now is on their rumored romance, Braun's own history with love is just as telling and just as complicated. Before the whispers about Sydney, Scooter Braun's personal life was already under a microscope. For nearly a decade, he was married to health activist Yael Cohen. From 2014 until their split in 2022, the two built a family together and welcomed 3 children. By Hollywood standards, it was a surprisingly private marriage, one that seemed steady until it wasn't. After the divorce, Braun stepped back from public romances, at least for a while. Then in 2024, he resurfaced in the tabloids, linked to Canadian model Rochelle Goulding. That relationship, too, was short-lived and faded without much drama. Now, with Sydney Sweeney, Braun is suddenly back in the spotlight. But this time, the attention feels magnified. Fans aren't just talking about his rumored romance. They're comparing it to Sydney's own history of choosing older, powerful men. And when you put the pieces together, a bigger picture starts to emerge. Looking back, a clear thread runs through Sydney Sweeney's love life, from her long-term engagement to Jonathan Davino, to rumors linking her with men like Tom Brady and Orlando Bloom, and now the whispers about Scooter Braun. The pattern is hard to miss. Each time the men are older, powerful, and established in their fields. Businessmen, industry moguls, celebrities with global influence. For fans, this raises questions. Is Sydney simply attracted to stability and maturity, or is there a deeper strategy behind these choices? Some see it as coincidence, others as preference, and a few speculate it's all part of navigating Hollywood's high-stakes world. Whatever the truth may be, it's undeniable that Sydney's relationships tend to place her alongside men who already command attention and influence, and that makes her latest rumored connection all the more fascinating. Because if this summer romance with Braun is real, it might not just be another headline. It could reshape how the world views both of them. Sydney Sweeney's rumored romance with Scooter Braun is more than just another Hollywood headline. It's a story that ties together her past, her choices, and a pattern that fans can't help but notice. From her long engagement to Jonathan Davino, to whispers about A-list actors, and now to one of the most controversial moguls in music, Sydney's relationships have consistently reflected power, influence, and maturity. For Braun, the spotlight is nothing new. He's weathered scandals, feuds, and public scrutiny for years. But pairing his name with Sydney's brings a fresh wave of attention, one that blends Hollywood glamour with industry controversy. So, what does this mean? Maybe nothing more than a fleeting summer romance. Or maybe it's another chapter in Sydney Sweeney's ongoing story of navigating fame, love, and ambition. Either way, it raises a question fans won't stop asking. Is this simply about attraction, or do these choices reveal something deeper about how stars survive in Hollywood? One thing's for sure, whether this romance lasts or fades, it leaves us with a narrative that feels bigger than love alone.